The Pixel Foldable is real, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like this. What's up, everybody? This is Scott. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Pixel Foldable, or the new Pixel Fold, or whatever the Google Pixel Foldable is going to be called. But yeah, I really want to talk about that. So actually I have 5 things that I believe that the Pixel Foldable is going to have. Now this is inspired because of my friend Tech Odyssey. So Adam over at the Tech Odyssey channel basically told me to get off my lazy butt and to make Pixel content, especially as it relates to the Pixel 6 and the Pixel Fold. So the next several videos that you'll see are pretty much about that. This also is a big shout out to John Rettinger because he has already made a great video, and that link will be here about John's video, but go watch mine first and then go watch John's. So I'll leave a link at the end of the video too, so you can watch John's video on the Pixel Foldable. So I don't want to bury the lead here. I believe that the Pixel Foldable is going to be around $1,200. Now for me, if it is in fact $1,200, I'm going to explain why I think it's going to be $1,200 in talking about the camera specs and what it's going to look like and some of the different pieces and parts that are going to be a part of it. But I can tell you right now that if the Pixel Foldable is $1,200, that to me is an absolute win, because you have the Duo that came in several $100s more than that, and you have the Z Fold 2 and there's the original Z Fold that came in close to $2,000. So if you can come close to that $1,200 mark, that makes a foldable much more approachable. For comparison purposes, my iPhone 12 Pro 256 cost me just a little over $1,300. So that means this puts this right on par with a iPhone Pro that doesn't fold. I'm telling you that right now, that if Google can somehow magically make this $1,200, this thing is going to sell a lot in the tech community for sure, but also I have started to see more Surface Duos out there in the world, so I could see the Pixels actually replacing those because of the design features that I'm getting ready to talk about. I think we're going to see a phone that looks a lot like the Z Fold 2, which means that yes, when you open it up, it's going to have the ability to open and shut like a book. It's going to have that tabletop mode and also have the ability to kind of like bend and fold the screen in a way to where you can lay it like this, lay it like this, and lay it all the way up anywhere like this. So that hinge for me is going to be such a big deal. I actually believe that the Pixel Foldable is going to have a hinge a lot like that, which makes it an immediate win over something like the Surface Duo, which has that massive stripe down in the center. Now, not to take away from the Surface Duo, I just really like the fact that the screen looks like one great big screen on the Z Fold 2, and I think that the Pixel Foldable is going to be a lot like that. And again, I can tell you, if Google does that for the $1,200 price point, it's going to be an absolute home run. On top of that, honestly, I think you're going to see that the Pixel Foldable is going to look a lot like the Z Fold 2. It's going to probably have some sort of fingerprint scanner on the outside where the power button is, probably going to have some sort of like teardrop or punch hole design as it relates to like a selfie camera or anything like that. But the cool thing about all of that is you're getting all of the goodness from like a Samsung piece of hardware. As a matter of fact, it's already rumored that Samsung is going to be making whatever the OLED display is for the Google Pixel Foldable. At least that's what the rumor mills say out there. So for us Google fanboys that have been patiently waiting for that cross collaboration between Samsung and Google, meaning Samsung hardware and Google software, I think you're going to see it in the Pixel Foldable. I think the outside display is going to be roughly somewhere in the vicinity of size as a Pixel 5, anywhere between 5 3/4 inches and 6 inches for the outside display. And then when you open it all the way up, somewhere in the vicinity of 7.6-ish inches, which makes it like the perfect size as it relates to playing games or opening up and reading a book or multitasking with Outlook or Google Gmail or anything like that. I believe that this particular device has the potential to be absolutely exquisite. Now, in order to keep some of that price down, what does that mean? Well, one way to do that is to make your own chip, and this is going to have the new Whitechapel chip that's probably going to be up on par as some of the more stout chips that you see out there. Now, is it going to get Snapdragon 888 level specs? No, but it may also not have that heating problem or performance issues that the Snapdragon 888 actually has either, so that may not necessarily be a bad thing. Now keep in mind the Z Fold 2, which is an absolute dream to use as well, doesn't run on a Snapdragon 888 either. It runs the Snapdragon 865 5G, which means as long as the Whitechapel chip gives somewhere between 765 and 865 level of specs and performance, I think the Pixel Foldable, or really all of the Pixels that's going to be announced later this year, are going to do just fine. On top of that, this is probably going to have somewhere in the vicinity of 12 gigs of RAM anyway. I'm expecting somewhere between 10 and 12 if I had to be a wild guesser. I would probably say it's going to have the Whitechapel chip. It's going to have 12 gigs of RAM with it. The outside fingerprint's going to be on the power button right there. And in order to shave some cost off of that to hit that $1,200 mark, it means we're probably going to have to reuse some of the older camera sensors that you're seeing in some of the previous devices. Now that might be a turnoff for some, but let's talk about why that may not necessarily be a big deal. Each of the last several years, and everybody in the tech news will tell you that Google's using old sensors and software, and oh my God, I don't know what to do. When in reality, the 16 megapixel camera that comes out there as the ultra wide and the 12 megapixel camera that comes on the back of the Pixel 5 as well is no slouch and holds its own with the best of them, quite really, when it comes to shooting camera stills. Now, I fully envision that what's going to happen is that's probably going to be on the back end of the Pixel Foldable, if I had to take a wild guess, in order to shave costs somewhere to hit a $1,200 mark that I'm completely taking a guess at. One of the first places to take it there is actually right there. And why that would be the easiest, because they've already developed years worth of incredible computational photography. So just slap that bad boy that you already know works really, really well in the back of a Pixel Foldable, call that your Gen 1, and then put that out to the masses at a much more approachable price. So for me, it's use a very similar design to the Samsung design that has had great success. Use already known pieces and parts when it comes to great cameras and enhance the software experience, because we already know the rumors out there about enhancing the software experience are running amok in the tech news community that's out there. So where there's smoke, there's fire. This is why I believe that the Pixel Foldable is very real. And everything that I mentioned, I fully believe that's probably going to come true. I am more than willing to be wrong in any instance for sure. But what I don't think I'm wrong about the most is that price point. Now, one thing I will say, I gotta warn Google on it, is you gotta get the video under control for the cameras. You can use older camera sensors out there, but my biggest fear is you gotta make sure that the 4K 60, 4K 30 is up to par or up to snuff with all of the other ones. If you're gonna ask me to spend $1,200 on a device, which by the way, if everything that I said is true, it is a day one insta-buy for me. But I will say that if you're gonna ask me to spend $1,200, boy, that video better be right up there, even better than the Pixel 5. And I thought the Pixel 5 video was actually pretty darn good. So I gotta ask, if you made it this far in the video, are you going to buy, if everything that I just described turns out to be true? Leave a comment below if you are going to buy the Pixel Foldable on day one. Put the word insta-buy if you are somebody that is going to buy it day one. So that's it. That's all I have. As always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up. Leave a comment below. See you next time.